In this video, we're going to talk about different types of revenue. In last week's video, I talked about revenue. And so in this video, I want to go a little bit deeper and talk about the different types of revenue. Now, if you've ever been involved in creating a marketing plan or a sales strategy, you know how complicated it can get. And in fact, people spend their entire careers becoming experts in marketing. And I don't claim to be a marketing expert here, but I am an expert in accounting. And so I want to talk about revenue from an accountant's perspective. There is one concept when it comes to revenue that is very powerful. And that concept is not all revenue is equal. So what this is basically saying is that there's different types of revenue. And so that for every $1 of one type of revenue, that's not necessarily equal to $1 of another type of revenue. Now, just stop and think about this for a second. What I'm saying is that $1 is not equal to $1 when it comes to the sales that are coming into your business. Now, that's a very complex idea, and I want to explain a little bit what I mean by this. So let's start by breaking down some of the different types of revenue. And I'm going to talk about three different types. You have first-time customers, you have repeat customers with variable revenue, and repeat customers with fixed revenue. Now, when you look at this list, the difference between first-time customers and repeat customers is fairly obvious. First-time customers are people who are purchasing things from your business for the first time, and repeat customers are when they come back and purchase over and over again. What's important is when we look at repeat customers, we need to break it down a little bit more. We have repeat customers with variable revenue, and that means that their revenue goes up and it goes down every quarter, and so we don't really know how much revenue that's going to bring in. And then we have repeat customers with fixed revenue. And so this is typically a customer who signed a long-term contract. And so we have a guarantee of what the revenue is going to be at in the future, and it's typically flat every quarter, and it might go up or down annually. Now, if you were to show this list to any business owner and ask them which type of revenue they would prefer, most business owners would select the third type of revenue here, which is repeat customers with fixed revenue. So this list is really in order of preference. So you start with first-time customers, and then what's more attractive than that is repeat customers with variable revenue. And finally, the most attractive is repeat customers with fixed revenue. So I'm going to go through three reasons why fixed revenue is so attractive. There is a practical reason, there's a financial reason, and there's also a personal reason of why fixed revenue is so attractive. So let's start with the practical reason. And the practical reason is if you have fixed revenue, it just makes planning for your business so much easier. So just imagine you were planning the coming year for your business. And if you have some level of fixed revenue coming in that's guaranteed, that makes it so much easier to plan. I mean, contrast that if you have a business that has all variable revenue. So your revenue might be up, it might be down, you just don't know. Well, that makes planning very difficult. Imagine if you are hiring staff. It's very difficult to hire staff if you're not guaranteed that you'll have the revenue coming in to pay that staff. And in fact, fixed revenue contracts are so attractive for businesses that it's quite common for businesses to reduce their prices to lock in fixed revenue contracts. The next reason fixed contracts are attractive is a financial reason. And the financial reason is that variable revenue is more risky than fixed revenue. So finance is all about risk. And I've actually made a number of videos on finance. I have a whole video series called Finance 101 that you can find on this channel. And it's like 6 hours of finance videos. But if you sit down and you watch those videos, what you'll realize is that finance is all about risk. It's all about understanding risk, it's about managing risk, and it's about valuing risk. And in fact, risk is a big driver in the valuation of your company, which drives your company's stock price. I'll give you a really simple example of how this plays out. So let's say you go to a bank and ask for a business loan. Well, that bank is going to look at your different types of revenue. And so when a bank looks at, let's say a bank is looking at two different companies, and one company has fixed revenue and one company has variable revenue. Well, the company with variable revenue, the bank is going to assess as more risky than the company with fixed revenue that has these locked in, guaranteed, fixed revenue contracts. Well, the bank is going to give the riskier company a higher interest rate on their loan, which will cost the company more money. So that's just a simple example of how this plays out from a financial standpoint. But there's many different examples of how the different types of revenue impact the finances of your business. And finally, we have to look at this topic from a personal level because we are talking about customer relationships here. These are real people, real humans making purchasing decisions. So there's a personal aspect to this. And when you look at the different types of revenue, this actually mirrors the customer experience. So you'll have a first-time customer come in, and if that customer has a good experience, they'll turn into a repeat customer. And if they continue to have a good experience, they might agree to sign a long-term contract. So when you look at those long-term fixed revenue contracts, they really represent a high level of trust that you have developed with this customer. If you think about it from this customer perspective, I mean, imagine you're a first-time customer and you come to a business for the very first time. There's a really high hurdle for you to sign a long-term contract because you know nothing about doing business with this company. So it might take you a while to become comfortable with doing business with a company. And so there's this kind of customer progression that as a business, you want to move your customers from becoming first-time customers along this progression to becoming, having a long-term revenue contract. And what that represents is that you as a business have been able to provide tremendous amounts of value to establish the trust that the customer is happy to do that. And it really represents a win-win situation because the customer is happy and you're happy with establishing this long-term relationship. So in reality, most businesses have all three types of revenue. You're going to have first-time customers. Those customers will turn into repeat customers with variable revenue, and those customers will turn into repeat customers with fixed revenue. We talked about a number of reasons why fixed revenue is attractive. We talked about it from the practical reason of planning your operations. We talked about it from the financial perspective of valuing your company. And we talked about the personal perspective of establishing trust with your customers. The reason this is such a powerful concept is because the idea that there's different types of revenue really impacts many decisions you make day to day to day in your business. I just want to add one clarification here, and that is I am not saying that you should treat any of your customers differently. So every single customer relationship is equally important to the health of your business. What I'm saying here is that it is important to understand the financial impact of the different types of revenue. Because when you go to a bank, they will look at these different types of revenue and value them accordingly. So it's important that you understand the impact of that. So now I want to hear from you. Let me know if you've ever thought about different types of revenue. I realize this is a complicated topic, so let me know what you think. And if you like this video, click on the subscribe button. I release a new video every week on accounting and corporate finance, so come back and check out next week's video.